Ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between and beyond, welcome to the Shaded Pixels podcast, where we break down video games through their shadings and pixels, topic by topic. I am one of your hosts, Esteban, and we got a fireside chat here, ladies and gentlemen, as I'm joined only by Sean Richards.
Hey, it feels good not being on the bottom this time.
That's what
that
she
came out
said.
Wrong. I apologize. We just... okay. Hey.
Hey,
Hi.
Look, you were always a power bottom. You have to realize that, okay? BJ never knew what was coming.
We are less than, 1 minute into the podcast, and we know that he is missing one hell of a ringer. He's missing one hell of a podcast.
Hey, remember, you are the heartbreak kid. You are the sexy boy. Not a boy toy. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been...
I don't know how to answer this. It's just, okay. I have to accept this now.
It's been a minute. I've already broken Sean. I apologize, but I'm having to speak for both myself and BJ, who could not be here because he's dead. But don't worry, next week I will sacrifice Sean's soul to the devil to resurrect him.
Can't do that. I've already done that. He already has it.
Crap.
We'll find somebody else. I'm sure that there's some guy laying on the street that we'll take care of.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because I gave my soul to him when I wanted to go see the Rolling Stones, because those tickets are expensive.
Yeah, I didn't have any high hopes for mine.
Anyway, we're gonna talk about food. I don't know how to transition out of this, so screw it. We're gonna be talking about food in video games, iconic food that just looks good, and just have a fun topic this week. This was pretty much spurred on by our last episode when we just kept going on and on about food, because that's what diversity ultimately boils down to.
It's just, we have diverse cultures, diverse food, and that is the best thing. Just to kind of go on a slight aside, we actually had a diversity week at work, and we thought, okay, to celebrate, why not just get food?
Yep.
That's how food brings people together. So what better way to bring gamers together than with the topic of food?
Exactly. I mean, there's always stuff going on. Unfortunately, there's like the Jacksonville thing, and then there's like the controversies. Like even just today, I heard like someone trying to shoot up Dr. Disrespect's house. So
that's odd.
Yes.
I heard gunshots were heard, but I didn't hear anything more about that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, someone fired a gun and it went through his bedroom window. So, I mean, maybe shot up is excessive because there was only one bullet, but I mean, there was enough.
Yeah, I mean, one bullet's more than enough for people to get scared.
Exactly. So, stuff like that is going on, but we're going to talk about food because that's what's going to bring us together, despite all these crazy things that are happening right now, because we need a light topic right about now. So, I guess I'll get started. I want to talk about a very iconic one, and one that I always remember just because I always connected it to old cartoons, and it's the wall meat from Castlevania.
Yeah.
Okay? Because they have this freaking, like, I guess it's like a turkey leg or something. I'm never quite sure what it is.
It's mutton, I think. I think that's like...
But yeah,
it's what you'll see in like the old, like Arthurian, basically the medieval times where you'll see people, just having a gigantic turkey leg or something like that. Because apparently turkey legs equal health and hearts do not.
Yeah, in Castlevania. But that I remember that distinctively because cartoons, old school cartoons like Looney Tunes and stuff, used to always have that too. Like you'd get like this big old like a bone, and then a big old like chunk of meat was on it, and it always looked really good to me. And
Yeah.
it's
It's
a,
one of those where they would have it, but they wouldn't just like eat it off. They would just shove the entire thing on their mouth and then just yank it out.
yeah, and there's just be a clean bone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh man.
and do that, and or every once in a while I'd see people like kind of chow down onto it, and there'd be like a bite, and like it's just like pure meat. And
Yeah, but I mean, in Castlevania, it's bone. Like you don't see him throw the bone away.
yeah,
It's he eats the entire thing, bone and all.
yeah, it seems too.
That's hardcore.
He doesn't even chew. He just walks into it, and it vanishes from existence. So I don't know how he's eating it. He's just melding his body into it, and it nourishes him. I don't know, but I remember that food because it always looked so good, despite the fact that it came out of a wall in this old castle that's been there for hundreds of years. There's no way that thing is still good, and yet
Well,
it still looks good.
it's Dracula's castle. I mean, he's got to make it look good because that's how he brings people in. He doesn't bring people in because it's a musty old. It look.
Oh,
I mean, if you had told me, we have meat in the walls, I'd be like, sign me the fuck up. Give me that wall meat.
yeah. So that's always been good. And another one that's also sort of a throwback, and they actually have pretty good looking mutton as well. But specifically, I want to point out the street apples from Streets of Rage.
Yeah.
Because you just like knock over a freaking trash can or something, you break open like an old phone booth, and there just be an apple there, and an apple on a little like silver platter.
It's a fancy apple.
It's a fancy apple that you got from a phone booth or a trash can.
I mean, I think that's how you know it's good. It's an edible apple because it's on a silver platter.
Yeah, dirty street apple on a silver platter.
I mean, would you eat it off the ground? No. But if I told you, hey, there's an apple on the ground and an apple on the silver platter, which one are you going to choose?
I guess
Obviously,
the one on the silver.
Platter.
I guess the one on the silver platter, but we were just establishing right before that we'd be eating mutton out of a wall. Break open the wall. You don't know what was in that wall. Spider webs, freaking just dust in general.
Yeah. But it's meat.
I don't think that an apple has skin on it. I guess you could anything that might be on it, you could just like peel the skin off, and the inside would be okay. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess, but then you also have to wonder like what all is in that apple.
Yeah, it's probably got a worm
because it's been out in the open. It's probably got some kind of worms in it or
yeah.
something like that. It's not the most nutritious thing. And even then, you eat an apple, you don't see them throwing out the cores. They're gonna die of cyanide poisoning from eating all those apple seeds. You know that.
I guess so.
Well, one video game food that I don't think actually originated from the game itself, but because of the cartoon that it was based on, it kind of carried over into the games. And it's the chili dog from Sonic.
Yep.
Sonic's chili dog. Just
now, which game are you talking about specifically? Because even though chili dogs have been associated with Sonic for a long time, there were never any chili dogs in like the classic games.
not in the classic ones. Generations
Yeah.
was the first one that I remember them actually having it. I don't think it's been unleashed. As much as that game harps on food, I don't remember one chili dog on Sonic Unleashed.
Yeah,
Um,
I am gonna bring up Unleashed later though, because holy crap, the food in that game. But no, the first game that I can think of that has a chili dog in it is actually, believe it or not, Sonic and the Black Rings. And I remember it very distinctively because Sonic,
okay, I think you meshed two of them because there's Sonic and the Secret Rings and then Sonic and the Black Knight.
Black Knight, sorry, excuse me,
Okay.
I did mash the two of them together because they're basically like they came from the same storybook series, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, Black Knight. I remember that because in the opening cutscene, Sonic deep throats the freaking chili dog. Like I'm not kidding. He eats it in one gulp, full dog.
I mean,
I don't know who made that decision, but I remember it because oh my god.
have you seen the hedgehog eat? Those things will take care of food in no time whatsoever.
I
And
do.
they do not
Go ahead.
they do not like to chew.
I do know that hedgehogs can be pretty ornery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Saw a video of like a hedgehog actually trying to attack a human, like walking up to him and like throwing himself at the human. I'm like, oh my god.
I mean, that's Sonic's homing attack right there. What else would you call it?
It's straight up as I'm like, okay, I mean, he's not blue, but I mean, other than that, it's pretty spot on. No, yeah, the chili dogs, especially in Sonic Generation, do look pretty good. They have some weird confetti on there because it's his birthday, but yeah, it looks pretty good.
Yeah. As long as they didn't make the cake out chili dogs, I don't think they did that.
Very interesting to me that he always eats chili dogs as opposed to chili cheese dogs. Never has cheese on them.
Yeah, I mean, that is weird.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, a chili
Maybe.
dog without the cheese isn't bad, but
Yeah, I was about to say maybe he's lactose intolerant, but as we know from Sonic Unleashed, that's not true.
no. I'm going to go ahead and go into my next pick, which is Sonic Unleashed, and both the ice cream that's in that game, which Chip has practically an orgasm over. That's his little friend that he hangs out with in that game, as well as Dr. Eggman's hoagie that he has during certain cutscenes. That thing looks so damn good. I always want a sandwich whenever I play that game.
It's just, oh hey, all he wants to do is build his own utopia and have a sandwich, and he can't do both.
Yeah.
Just like he got his utopia, but no, he just wants to settle down, eat his sandwich, and be relaxed. But no, Sonic has to screw everything up.
Yeah. Fun fact about that Utopia, Eggman Land. Robotnik, well, Eggman, has been going back and forth trying to build that place ever since Sonic Adventure 1.
Yeah.
It's been mentioned ever since then, and he finally built it in Sonic Unleashed. And that place is hell. The place is absolute hell. I hate that damn level. It's too long.
Well, not just that, but it just looks like why?
Well, it's overindulgence, and I mean, it makes sense, especially after, like I just said, he's been trying to do that since Sonic Adventure 1, so it's like 8 years in the making.
It doesn't even fit his color aesthetic because you would think it'd be more red and more vibrant in colors, but no, it's dark and purple and
Yeah.
why?
I don't know. All I know is that he's probably like, I finally am able to do this, and he just went crazy, and he just went with whatever would stop the hedgehog. And I mean, you can get through. If you can get through that level quickly, you could probably get through it in like a half an hour. But your first time through, you're looking at like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
That thing is insane.
Especially if you're the werehog.
I mean, you have to be both. So
Yeah.
that's how crazy it is. It actually forces you to be both forms several times.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny because he does eventually get Eggman Land, but he never gets to eat that sandwich.
Yeah. But no, Sonic and Chip can have ice cream that's literally like whenever you see Chip in the game, it's about the size of Sonic's head.
Hmm.
And yet he gets an ice cream that's bigger than he is. I
That thing,
swear to God.
that thing is loaded with like peanuts and sprinkles and whipped cream and some other stuff. It's like holy crap, and it looks good. I don't think I've even eaten an ice cream that big, like in real life.
Like at that point, like after a couple of scoops, it'd be like, okay, I think I'm good. But no,
Hmm.
it's just like he's like, oh, the more ice cream, the better.
Yeah,
Which kind of going off on that, the names in Sonic's universe is weird. Like you have he's named Chip after ice cream. Like Sonic
yeah.
looks at him and be like, "You like ice cream? I'm gonna name you Chip." Like, hey, you have an official name, but you have two tails, so I'm gonna call you Tails. Like, I
Yeah.
wonder if the people who like saw Knuckles, if he has a real name, but they're just like, you can punch things. I'm gonna call you Knuckles. Actually, Sonic, my name is your Knuckles.
Um, my understanding is that according to what was that game? Sonic Chronicles: The Dark Brotherhood. I think he does have a different name, but it's a name that not even Knuckles is aware of. It's sort of like his native name. Uh, that game focuses on like a space version of his tribe. That like, did you ever play Sonic Adventure 1?
Yes.
Okay, you know how that game goes into Knuckles, uh,
Yeah,
his
because you have
ancestors.
yeah, because it has what's her name?
Tikal.
Wherever she comes up, yeah, where
Yeah.
she goes in and tells you the backstory of Chaos and the Master Emerald and things like that, and
Hmm.
the Echidna tribe.
Yeah. Well, at the end of that, it shows essentially the Echidna tribe got wiped out, and that's why Knuckles is like the only one left. Well, Dark Brotherhood says that actually a section of the Echidna tribe got transported into space, and since then they became bitter, and they're actually the main bad guys in Dark Brotherhood in that
Yeah,
in that game. And actually, one of the first things they do is they kidnap Knuckles, like to try to like get him back because he's one of us. That type of idea. And I think somewhere in there they say like your real name is actually this, and
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, they did that plot with Shadow in Sonic 06, and we saw how that turned out.
Oh God, we don't talk about Sonic 06.
Yeah. But I mean, granted, was it Sonic Rush that introduced Blaze?
Yes.
Speaking of that game, where she came from another dimension,
Yeah. Well,
another
that's what Rush
dimension.
says. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like we said, we're not talking about that other game
Yeah.
right now. But yeah, like once you decide into that, an entire tribe being trapped in space, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I've played Ty the Tasmanian Tiger. I know how this goes
That's
because the plot
right.
of that is basically the same. It is you are the last Tasmanian tiger, and your family is trapped in some sort of weird portal, and you have to get all of these talismans to get them back.
Was that the first one?
Yeah, that's the first one.
I never finished the first one. I played through the second one, and I actually reviewed the fourth one. If you remember that exists.
I do not remember that exists. I know that
Yeah.
there was a third one, but that
Yeah,
was it.
Chrome Studios, the creators of Ty the Tasmanian Tiger, and later the Legend of Spyro, made Ty the Tasmanian Tiger 4 for Steam, and it's a 2D side scroller.
Makes sense.
It's not the worst thing in the world. It's just boring as hell.
I mean, yeah, that's whenever they take a property because that was an EA property. That was like EA's platformer.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but
But Chrome Studio actually has ownership of it now. I think EA doesn't own it anymore because they don't care.
Of course, they can put loot boxes in it anyway.
Yeah. Anyway,
Back to
uh,
food.
back to food.
One
Let's.
thing that I've noticed with some of the newer games
Mm-hmm,
is that they have a lot of cooking elements in it. The two that really spring to my mind is Final Fantasy 15,
mm-hmm.
which has some of the best looking food in the world. Oh my god!
I haven't
And
played it, but I've seen some screenshots, and yeah, it's impressive.
yeah, oh man, that makes me hungry every single time I see it. And also, um, Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild had a cooking
Mm-hmm.
element to it, which I mean, you brew potions and stuff like that. I understand that,
Yeah.
but whenever you like go in, gather materials, and start cooking, that you're just like, oh, that kind of looks tasty. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
anytime Final Fantasy 15, you hear, oh, found a new recipe. I'm thinking, oh boy, what's it going to be today?
Oh,
What am I going to eat today?
yeah. Yeah, what again? I haven't played it, but one of the guys that's in your crew, he's like a a chef, right? Like he enjoys cooking,
Yeah.
and so he's always trying to like learn new recipes and things that he can cook.
Yeah, and not just that, but you also go into different restaurants and can get different food that way.
Oh, okay.
So it's not only the fact that you're out on the road in your little boy band learning new recipes, but you're also stopping in different restaurants, looking at different food, and you're thinking, oh my God,
Mm,
like this game just has a food fixation, which is amazing.
yeah. Another more recent game that seems to be like I don't know if it's a focus, but it certainly seems to be something that they pay like certain attention to is the Yakuza games. There's a lot of different restaurants in those games, and you can go to, and the pictures that they have of the food looks so good. All the different ramen and sushi and rice and even some of the burger places that they have in there, because there is a burger joint always in those games too. So the burgers look really good. And like I said last time, I enjoy myself a good burger. So that's another game that looks really good with that.
Yeah, it's just like the higher and better graphics go. It's just like, yeah, we can improve character models, whatever, but you improve the way the food looks. Oh my goodness. Oh man,
Yeah.
you've got my aesthetic. You've got my aesthetic. You've got my heart right there.
Mhm.
I'll probably stop beating from all the food that I'm going to be looking at and all the food I'm
Yeah.
going to be ingesting. But you've got my heart right there,
Yep.
and that's not even counting the video games based off of food, or that being
Yeah.
off of restaurants.
Like okay, well there's games where food is the main mechanic, and then there's games where it's actually based off of like food products.
Yeah,
So you got like in the first category there'd be like Cooking Mama and Overcooked. Um and then in the latter category there's like Chester Cheetah and Pepsi Man and I don't know. I guess those horrible games that Burger King made on the Xbox 360,
Sneak King.
Sneak
Yeah,
King and Go Kart, whatever the hell it was called. I don't remember.
yeah. You've got like the games McDonald's put out. This was back in
Oh,
the NES days.
oh, that reminds me. Yeah, I actually have one. Hang on.
Okay. Well, I guess I have to entertain you guys with some stories from my childhood. Um, oh,
I'm back.
you're back.
Yeah, speaking of, I'm surprised I forgot about this, considering that I have this. This game from McDonald's is actually extremely good.
Yeah,
This
I remember seeing that.
is McDonald's Treasureland Adventure. And oddly enough, considering that it's Treasureland Adventure, it was made by Treasure, the same people who made Gunstar Heroes. And guess what? It's a platformer, and it's kind of basic, but it's actually really good. Like, it's legit good. There's a reason why I bought this cartridge.
Yeah, it's like these mechanics will be surprisingly okay, and then you think it's just like, I don't understand this.
Yeah.
But at that point, I don't really play that and think, I'm really craving McDonald's. Just
No.
like I don't play Sneak King, and anytime he hands a Whopper to somebody, I'm not thinking that looks really good. I'm thinking, yeah, give that guy the fucking Whopper, because I'm
Yeah.
sick and tired of trying to sneak behind him, trying to shove a burger down his mouth.
Yeah. I don't know how it works in terms of like product placement, but at least in this regard, it doesn't matter because it's a good game. There's other ones though, like McKids. That was a game on the NES for McDonald's.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. I think that's not as good as the one you have.
Yeah, the
So
Genesis one. Yeah. Um, Let me see. I think they've had more. I swear that there was a game where you actually where there's like actual characters in the game, like Grimace and the Hamburglar.
I don't
I'm,
remember what that is. I
I
think I
mean,
remember
they're
that.
in this game. They're in this game, but there's another one.
Where weren't they actually playable in that other game?
Oh, that I don't remember.
Because I'm trying to think. We will remember this by the end of the episode or after the episode ends because that's the way brains work.
Screw that. I'm gonna look it up.
Okay.
But yeah, while I'm doing this, the last game that I want to bring up with good food in it, Monster Hunter World. Now I only played that game for a little bit, but typically what you do is you have a meal before you take off on a hunt.
Yeah.
And the meal is made by a group of cats, and their attention to detail is incredible because they just put out this feast of meat and drink, and there's like sweet buns, and it just looks so good.
Oh yeah. One thing that I've always wondered. I don't know if it's like too much related to what we're talking about.
Hmm.
But anytime I play Crash Bandicoot and I see the Wumpa fruit, I keep on thinking, what does that taste like? Because they
Yeah,
do. It's not like it's a poisonous fruit. They do consume it because in Tag Team Racing they have a Wumpa fruit shake. So I keep on
mm.
wondering, what does that taste like? Is it more like a mango? Is it more like a pear? Is it like an apple? Or because the way the looks kind of like a texture, it's almost looks like a cross between a mango and a peach. And I
Yeah,
keep on thinking,
that's what it reminds me of. From
yeah, it's like the shape of a peach, but the color of a mango. I'm thinking, because a lot of people like to put mango and peach together. That would be an amazing fruit to try.
yeah. Okay, update on the McDonald's game. First off, it's a little hard to get like a whole bunch of them because when you type in McDonald's video game, what pops up is a mobile game called McDonald's video game. And from the screenshots, it kind of looks like a simulation where you're like running a McDonald's restaurant.
Oh, it's one of those.
Yeah. So
Which that's a thing. Like you were saying with Cooking Mama and Overcooked, like
mhm.
that has become more of a popular genre where you basically make the food and kind of like run a restaurant, things like that. Those have always been popular, like kind of like Tycoon and Builder
Yeah,
series, things like
the
that.
sim games like that. Yeah. Some of the Cookie Mom games are where you're running a restaurant. The early ones, I know, it's just like, hey, make this dish. But I think the later ones became like, hey, run this restaurant.
Yeah.
And Overcooked is like that as well, technically, but it's just way more sillier because it's like your restaurant's on the deck of a ship. I'm trying to make all this food while all your equipment is sliding left and right because you're on the ocean.
It's just like everything's burning. Nah, that's fine. You can still salvage the burgers somehow. Just put it in water, I guess.
But other than that, yeah, I can't find this game because that mobile game is screwing up the search.
Wow.
So I give up.
Yeah.
Well, do you have any other food games that you want to talk about? Any other foods that look good in video games?
Not really in particular. It's mostly those that we kind of like touched up upon.
Hmm.
But honestly, just whenever we like I look at food and games, especially the high quality food that people put out, it's just that's really, really good. It really makes me hungry.
Hmm.
And it just kind of like sticks in my mind. I don't know if you've watched. I don't know how much anime you watch.
Not a whole lot.
Yeah. Well, there is one called Food Wars.
Oh wait, is this the? I think I've heard of this. Is this the one where the food is so good that like people's clothes fly off?
Yes.
Why?
Yes.
Why? Frickin' Japan.
Okay. However, there is a point to this because
Okay.
I really do like this anime.
All right.
It's actually educational.
Okay, that I doubt, but all right.
No, like some of the food and the recipes that they go in there, because after they taste the food and everything, you can hear the protagonist digs in deep into what goes into it and how he cooks it and how he makes it taste so good, to the point where if you like go in and watch an episode, you'll actually get to learn a lot of the recipes that he uses to put into that. And that's one thing. That's one of the biggest reasons I brought up games like Final Fantasy 15 and Yakuza and Breath of the Wild is because, well, less so with Breath of the Wild, but with the other games, it kind of teaches you how to cook
Yeah.
or gives you ideas on how to make a dish like that, to where you become inspired. You make a dish and you know how it increases your know-how, just how good the food looks. And with the case of Final Fantasy 15, you get a better sense as to how to make that food.
Okay, well, I know in Yakuza you're just kind of buying the food, but in Final Fantasy 15, do they actually like show you what goes into making the dish?
Last time I checked, they do something similar with that. Either way, I mean, if you look at it, how good a dish looks, especially like even Breath of the Wild, which
Mm-hmm.
you can make have four apples and it makes some kind of weird stew. I mean, it looks so good that you'll see people going out there and making copycat dishes.
Yeah, that's true.
Like in the Fallout universe, you have Nuka Cola and the
Mm-hmm.
variations on that, and you'll see people everywhere saying, "Oh yeah, I've made a Nuka Cola knockoff. Here's how I made it." And it's things like that that really brings to my mind why I like food and gaming,
Yeah.
because of how diverse the gaming culture is. You'll
Mm-hmm.
have a lot of people going out here and be like, "Okay, I see a food. I'm gonna make that."
Yeah.
Well, you can't make that. You can't make a Wumpa fruit. Watch me try. And then, we go into crossbreeding and genetics and all that kind of good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons I love food and gaming, because you'll have people that go out there, make the food, and make it so inventive, and it kind of makes your mind blossom.
That does remind me. There is a YouTuber that just makes a whole bunch of food that's inspired by video games, either by recreating food that's in the game, or just making something else that has like video game stuff on it. She's quite popular. It's Rosanna Pansino. Um, yeah, she just makes like her entire channel is just nothing but video game and nerd related food items. So there you go, exactly like what you're saying.
Yeah, awesome, amazing. You should subscribe to that channel because we are not a shameless plug. Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's all the food stuff that I've had on my mind and on my heart and on my stomach.
Yeah. That's about everything I had as well. So, this has been a light episode. I knew it was going to be kind of a short one. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's just
Hey.
okay. Um, so before we go, I guess we should be plugging our stuff. So,
Yeah.
Sean, how about you? What do you got down the pipe or whatever?
So in the pipeline,
Yeah, there you
I
go.
have
Pipeline.
um I've been a bit light on content, but I've been wanting to kind of push that forward. So I have an update video coming. Me and my friends, my roommates, have played the Battlefield 5 beta. So I got that recorded. I've got that stream kind of going up as soon as possible, kind of giving our impressions on that. And then I have a few series that I'm going to be working on, which you can always check out my update video whenever it gets posted. It's Shawn Studios on YouTube. You can always find me on Twitter. It's at Little Big Ham. And then Facebook, Shawn Studios, Twitch, Little Big Ham. I kind of split between those two things. Esteban, what about you, sir?
Well, I've got even more content going up because I finally got kind of a groove going on.
Nice.
We have Let's Plays of Alice Madness Returns going up on Mondays. We have Let's Plays of Sonic Adventure DX going up on Thursdays. I've been streaming a new game for once because I was happy enough to have some extra money, and I bought Yakuza Kiwami 2, and it's been super fun, and I've been streaming that. Stream schedule is still not locked in, but right now I'm trying for Mondays and Thursdays at 2 p.m., but that may change. But you can check that out and all the good food that's in that game.
Oh, yes.
Let's see. Gaming Landscape is my weekly blog where I talk about the games that I've been playing. That's been going up on Friday, so you can check that out as well. And I recently finished all of the original trilogy in the Spyro franchise on the original PlayStation. So, leading up to the Reignited trilogy, which will be coming out in November, you can expect reviews of those games coming from me.
Yeah. Once the Reignited trilogy comes out, I plan on getting that, playing through those, and giving my thoughts on that. One of the videos that I actually kind of have in my personal pipeline is I'm just going to sit down and go through my history with Insomniac Games.
Ooh, okay.
Spider-Man's come out. I looked at it and I had to grab it. So one of the videos that I have is going to talk about Spyro, but kind of just more my thoughts on the developer as a whole and my experience with that.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of which, I did also post like a couple of weeks ago my thoughts on Spyro, my history rather, with the original trilogy. And I'll probably do something with the Reunited trilogy once it comes out because I'm definitely going to pick that up. And
yeah,
you know what? I'll give a little tease for something. After the Reignited trilogy happens, I already sort of tried to start this already, but I'm going to go beyond the original trilogy of Spyro games. I already tried to go into Enter the Dragon. Oh boy.
well, I mean that game's broken as it is.
Oh boy.
I think the speedrunning record is like 2 minutes because you can get to the final boss.
Yeah, there's a glitch that you can do. You headbutt like a certain corner in the portal where the final boss shows up, and you just go right through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I will say one Spyro franchise, sub franchise rather, that I really got into for some reason is the Legend of Spyro trilogy.
Really?
Oh,
I am very curious because I've never touched it.
oh my goodness! You want to talk about taking a lovable franchise and basically performing a Jack 2 on it? That's the Legend of Spyro trilogy.
God damn it!
It is legitimately the plot of the trilogy is that Spyro is so special because he's purple.
Oh, I thought you were going to say because he's Elijah
joking.
Wood.
He's played by Elijah Wood.
Yeah.
Sparks looks friggin' weird. They made Hunter look realistic, and Aragorn from the Lord of the Rings. It is hilarious how serious they're trying to make a story about a purple dragon.
Yeah. I mean, look. I can't say anything as somebody who likes Sonic the Hedgehog and all the crap that they've tried to make Sonic go through. I mean, Sonic Unleashed is literally about the blue hedgehog trying to put together the Earth, which has been split into multiple pieces with the help of a little furry gnome-looking thing, and going up against this giant Earth golem. So,
Well, even with Sonic Unleashed, I think Unleashed had a good mix of being completely serious and down to earth with the world being kind of cartoony, so you can kind of buy that.
yeah.
This is less of Sonic going to Sonic Unleashed and more of trying to be as serious as Sonic 06 without having human characters.
I didn't want to bring it up. That's why I didn't bring that game up. But yeah, it's basically that. Oh, God. But is it bad? My guess is that it's not as broken as Sonic 06.
Oh, it's not. It's not as broken as Sonic 06. Yeah.
My guess is that it functions.
Is if you take your mind, if you have never played a Spyro game before in your life and can detach yourself from the fact that this is from an established franchise, if you kind of take it as its own thing, it's not bad. It's the way I always think about it is that if like Crash of the Titans and Mind Over Mutant.
Yeah. I never played Mind Over Mutant, but I did touch Crash of the Titans.
Yeah. Crash of the Titans has a completely different look, completely different gameplay style. But from what I've heard, because I've not really touched those games, is that it's not bad. It's just different. And if you're okay with different, then that's good. That's the same thing with the Legend of Spyro series. It's not bad if you're okay with the changes that it makes.
That's not a great example because I remember thinking Crash of the Titans was really bad. Now, well, let me ask you this though: would it comparing it to Crash to Insanity be better? Because that's a game that was kind of different. It's a lot more wackier, but I feel like it still has merits on its own.
It's still, well, Crash to Insanity was its own thing. It's very wacky. I absolutely love that game. But
I don't love it, but I think it's good.
Yeah. It still had, whenever you're playing as Crash, it still had the gameplay style that you were more familiar with. Whereas this, instead of doing just a simple flaming and charging, you have a bunch of horn attacks and aerial moves and all this kind of fancy stuff. And you have the different breaths that you can get, kind of like Enter the Dragonfly. And these are kind of more upgradable type of things that you can do. So you can upgrade your electric breath and do this kind of thing. And it does tell more of a linear story. You battle a lot of baboons. I remember that was a thing.
Okay.
But in terms of gameplay style, it's a completely different thing. In terms of story, it's just so serious, it's laughable.
Well, that'll be something I'm gonna have to get to eventually. Because first it's the Reignited trilogy.
Definitely, yeah.
And
the
then
Reignited trilogy looks to be so much better.
Yeah, and then I gotta finish Enter the Dragon. Then I gotta actually tackle A Hero's Tale. And then the Legend of Spyro trilogy. And then I haven't even decided if I'm gonna try to get into the handheld games.
The handheld games are actually not that bad.
I've heard that.
As long as you stay away from Spyro Orange.
Yeah, the Crash Bandicoot collaboration. Yeah.
Yeah. Because the way the Spyro handheld games work is that they are isometric, which once you get accustomed to it, I think it's a really good gameplay style, especially if you can Sonic 3D Blast.
Yeah.
That's the one I want to think about. Or if you're looking into the handheld stuff, Sonic Labyrinth. If you can get accustomed to well, more 3D Blast because it's actually fast paced. Labyrinth,
sort of, yeah. Sonic 3D Blast has its problems, but I actually like that game. So
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we kind of got off on a huge tangent on that.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm going to be doing. I mean, I'll probably end up doing some other stuff too. I don't have a timetable for this Spyro stuff other than all 3 reviews will be out before Reignited Trilogy comes out. And then I'm going to do something, probably a review for Reignited Trilogy once I play that and get through it. And yeah, that's what all the stuff I have coming down the pipeline.
Okay. Well, sounds good. And of course, I mean, where can people always check us out? Is it somewhere on the screen, maybe right below us?
Yep, it absolutely is. All down below us here. You can go to the YouTube channel. You can go to the Twitch channel, our Twitter. You can check out our audio version of this podcast.
We have Facebook. An audio version?
We do have an audio version now. In case you want to listen to us on the go while you're in the car, before you go and cut someone's head off in road rage, whatever.
Before you sacrifice your soul so you can get your friend back on the podcast.
Yeah, before you do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so please follow us on there. You can always hear about when the podcast is going to be going up. We always share it there. We will also sometimes drop hints on what the next topic will be, or sometimes we'll just blatantly tell you whatever we feel like.
Yeah.
And other than that, that has been the podcast. We somehow made this 50 minutes, and I think 10 of it was just us talking about Spyro.
Spyro has good food, I think.
Yeah, sure. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. And we'll catch you next week. Bye.